Good morning. Welcome to Paradise Now Dialogues with the Mother. My name is Sanda Davis, and I will be your host today and for many shows to come. The theme of today's show is the Spirit. You'll hear from me. I will reveal things about the Spirit that are not generally known. Many traditions touch on some, but nothing like what I will tell you today. So tell your friends to turn the TVs on, watch the show on Vision, and learn about the Spirit. The Spirit, I was explaining in other shows. In case you didn't see them, I will say it today. The Spirit is your own. The Spirit is the result of your own emotions, feelings, thoughts. But it is a reality that once is formed and validated by the Holy Spirit, it has a life of its own and interacts with the mind, body, and the whole divine realm in ways that are very significant. It is actually your responsibility to develop a very good spirit, very healthy spirit for yourself, because if you have a very good spirit, ideally a Holy Spirit, everything will be much easier for you. Your body will be in much better shape, your mind will be in perfect shape, and your soul will be very well protected. The ideal is to develop a Holy Spirit. I will explain to you how the Spirit develops. I will just explain first for you to know what holy means, because we know of Holy Spirit, you've heard about that, but what is a Holy Spirit? A Holy Spirit has very, very specific aspects to it that are validated by the Holy Spirit of God. The Holy Spirit of one individual person would be the holy form in spirit of that particular person. You could recognize, you can look at that and recognize the person. You can say, okay, that's the Apostle Peter, or that's the Apostle whoever. Once you know the person, you recognize the Spirit. The only eternal Spirit is the Holy Spirit. Not just the Holy Spirit, but your individual Holy Spirit. Now, what does that mean? What is the Holy Spirit, or your Holy Spirit? It's a spirit that totally corresponds to the principles of God. A spirit that develops in total reverence for the principles of God in all aspects. And you'll see further what are those aspects. Let's say you do react in God-responsive ways. You do develop your spirit in a godly way, and you end up with a spirit that has everything according to the godly principles, the principles of God actually. Then the Holy Spirit of God comes and verifies everything and validates everything. And that's when the spirit is stabilized. And if it is holy, it is also eternal. A Holy Spirit is eternal. And it is with qualities that participate to the development of the Spirit, and I will explain in the next segment what are the characteristics, what do you have to do to develop a Holy Spirit, or at least a good spirit, how to stay away from developing a very poor spirit. And as you will understand that, you'll have to keep in mind that as an adult who start to understand, there are specific things that you can do. You are in charge with your own spirit. And the better your spirit is, the better your health is, the better everything works. Now, how is the spirit formed? Before it becomes powerful enough to become holy, before it becomes ready enough to interact with the mind and create life. A spirit that is holy interacts with the mind and creates life. So not only you have to create your own spirit, but you have the chance to create your own life. Well, if you have your own life and your own spirit and it is good, your body benefits in so many ways. Your family life benefits, your professional life, the duration and the quality of your life benefits enormously. I will just give you in this segment the fundamentals about the development of the spirit. How does the spirit develop? It's a little bit like the way you add the computer chips to the motherboard. Let's say a spirit of goodness. You need a spirit of goodness for the final outcome of a Holy Spirit. You need your spirit to be good, meaning everything it does is good. Everything that you want for your spirit is good. And that comes from good emotions. The desire to do good, the desire to do good to yourself, to do good to others. The emotions that come with doing good. When you have an emotion about doing good, when you are happy to do good, there are many aspects, and we'll discuss those details later, but there are many aspects that would define a good aspect of the spirit, which in the end would define a good spirit. You have emotions that are connected to goodness. Sometimes those emotions can be conflicted and you have to sort through. But you'll end up, let's say, with the happiness that you did something good, that you felt good about yourself to do something good. And you did it a number of times and you always had the joy and the happiness and the satisfaction that you did something good. You do gladly something for somebody else, for yourself, for the world. And that joy that you have and that gladness and that satisfaction is your way of preparing for validating that component of the spirit that develops from the emotions. First you have the emotions. And then you start to have, the emotions are repeated, and then you start to have, let's say, other thoughts, kind of, well, if you do good, then you get bad, or if you do good, nobody thanks you, or if you do good, they'll think that you are not smart enough. There are all sorts of ways of thinking about if you do good. Then you have to stop yourselves, like you have to do good in order to do good. You don't do good concerned that they will not thank you. If they don't thank you, that's all right. The important thing is that you do good. And once that repeated positive direction of your good doing happens, then you are confronted with other thoughts, and then that's where the validation comes from your thoughts. You go like, wait a minute, I don't care if they thank me. I want to do good. I want to be good. If they thank me ever, fine. If not, that's all right. We'll continue after the break to talk about how the way you think about what you do, what you feel, and what you think will contribute to the way your spirit develops. Now, the spirit has an enormous importance in the body. To tell you the whole spirit what it does, the spirit is the immune system of the body. When the spirit is your spirit, is the immune system of the body. If it is your spirit holy, then you have the best immune defense. You hardly ever have any problem with any cold stays a little bit and it goes away. Any illness doesn't have power over the body as long as you stay in touch and maintain your contact with your Holy Spirit and stay in a holy state. The Spirit is providing the atoms that the mind works with to build the molecules. The Spirit interacts with the mind for the birth of life. There's so much. Once you developed, that is all planned, that is all your task, your development has to result in development of the spirit. Your development has to result in development of your mind, in development of your life. All the processes are fundamentally and divinely guarded, and they are there, but you have to learn how to do it. And the upbringing tends by teaching you how to react when you have specific emotions, how to think about different situations, how to think about yourself or about nature or about people or about God. All of that is already there in a more or less implicit way, but it's far from being as developed as it needs to be. The Spirit is the one that can save your life. You save your spirit saves your life. When a patient receives a 2-month verdict from a doctor who says you have 2 more months and that's it, you put your affairs in order and that's it, the doctor is reading the symptoms that happen in a body that no longer functions well with the spirit, where the spirit no longer functions to help the body. Remember, the spirit is the one that, working with the mind, will enhance and will prepare the development of life. If you have a terminal condition and you put your mind and spirit to work to give the life power, then you have life and you can be alive 20 years after the doctor said that you have only 2 months to live. I will explain how the spirit forms. I'll give you more details about how the spirit forms. But one important thing to know is that things are arranged really well. When you only have 2 months, which is 60 days, you have 40 days to develop the spirit and 20 days to spare. It takes 40 days if you start from a totally broken spirit. If you start from 0, it takes 40 days to renew and to develop your spirit. You can have a spirit as good as holy in 40 days in which you really mean it. And then you have the rest of the 20 days to assure yourself that you'll pass the 2 months condemnation, if you want, verdict from the doctor. That is one of the most important things that people should know when they get landmarks like, okay, how long, doctor? Well, 2 years. The doctor speaks from experience, from observation. When the doctor says that you have 2 more years, that means that your soul is no longer working with your body. It may not even be centered with the body. 2 more years. The body cannot live more than 2 months without the spirit. The body cannot live more than 2 years without the soul. And it's not easy. Without the soul, it's not easy. The body is half dead without the mind. So keep comfort, keep your mind. You need your mind for the body to function well. You need to develop your spirit. You need to take care of your soul. And these are relatively easy things to do. It depends on you, on what you choose to do every day, how you choose to think. I love to see what's happening on social media with people encouraging each other to think positive, offering to each other every day a dose of cuteness with pets that are warming the heart, with flowers, with cards, with phrases that invite to wisdom, or phrases of affection and love. And that is wonderful, because there's always an occasion to spark something good in your mind, body, soul, and spirit. Just know that it is in your hands. Everything was put there from birth. Everything is in the structure of reality. And it's not one thing more important than another. They're all important. Your intellect is important, but your intellect works with your mind. Your conscious mind works with your intellect. This is why you have to be conscious when you study at the university, but you can heal, or when you are at work, your intellect and your mind works together for you to do what you have to do at work. At home, you can sleep, you can be unconscious, and your unconscious mind will work with the mind, body, soul, everything, to restore your body, to give the healing that your body needs. You have to understand that all of these have different names because there are different structures. The way you have head and hand and foot and leg, that's how you have mind, body, soul, intellect, other components, but right now we are talking about the main one. And you have what it takes to develop the spirit. Once you practice enough goodness, meaning it, once you feel enough goodness at the emotional level, then you validate it with your thought. You say, yeah, I'm a good person. I like to do good. I like to be good. I like to feel good about doing good. You validate with your thought. It becomes a rule of behavior. Being good to people becomes a rule that can be challenged in difficult moments, but you have to hold on to the good. You don't have to waste your goodness wondering, would they thank you, would they be grateful? If you do that to understand the world is different, but if you do that to feel bad about doing good, that's not a way to go. Feel good about doing good, and you'll develop the goodness component of your spirit. That's a component. It's like you put the computer chip there, only it's alive and it's connected to everything divine. Then comes kindness, and look what's happening in the world. A lot of people come with random gestures of kindness, and everybody's encouraging everybody to be kind. And in that sense, there's a lot of change in the world. But you have to put yourself in the position where you admire kindness, you feel kindness, you wish to impart kindness. And there's enough to be kind to. And that's another aspect. You have goodness, you have kindness. And then you are in situations where you have to speak truth. That's another aspect that defines the spirit. See, everything good that we love and like is actually becoming part of the spirit. The spirit, in order to complete itself, needs you to produce those feelings, those emotions, those thoughts, and those actions so that it can develop. It's yours. it's your template in spirit form, but then you have to enrich that with the behaviors and feelings and thoughts that develop it. And in the next segments, we'll talk more about this. Welcome back. You may start to understand and to figure out that there's more to the spirit that meets the eye. And you need to have the eyes of the spirit in order to see the spirit and the spirit world. And for that, you have to be fully developed. For your spirit eyes to open, you have to be fully developed. Until then, you have to take it step by step and develop the aspects of your being until there is nothing missing. We're talking about goodness, about kindness, about truth. You end up with the spirit of truth, with a truthful spirit that's yours. Then you cannot tell a lie. Not only you cannot tell a lie, but you can feel if somebody else is telling you something that is not true. So, goodness, kindness, truthfulness. Let's go to generosity. Well, how many people do you know who are truly generous? Before you develop generosity to the point of having it as a virtue, you have to start with a spirit of giving. Give attention, give time, give help, give what you can to help others who are less fortunate, who have less than you. Anything that can help another, and give it with a grateful heart, like be happy that you can give, rather than go, oh, I gave. No, you feel good about that. You tell or you don't tell anybody, but allow yourself to feel the enjoyment of giving. Before you know it, you repeat enough giving and have the right feelings and the right thoughts. You don't go back and say to somebody, well, I gave you that, because then you develop a blockage to the spirit. They say, thank you for what you gave me. You say, I'm happy that I could. I'll be happy to help you again when I can. Once you develop the spirit of giving, then the next layer is the spirit of generosity. You practice generosity more, it can get to the point of you develop your virtue of generosity. Virtues, like the saints, connect directly to the God. You have a virtue, you are connected to the God. It's the best connection that you can have. Not just to any God, to the God. Virtues and sainthood connect you to the God. Good qualities connect you to good deities that lead you well, and open the possibility for you one day to be connected to the God, who is always aware of where you are at. Developing all aspects of the spirit, which develop in 40 days, will complete the set, will complete your profile with all the qualities that you need to have. Once you develop the qualities, you start to develop capacities. Like you develop the quality of truth, you start to develop the capacity to know what is true and what is not true, to know what to do in a situation where truth has to be part of your experience then. Once you complete the development of your spirit, along a certain time if you have no hurry, or in 40 days if you have it as a task, then you experience a freedom and a functionality that surpasses anything that you ever felt before. Welcome back. We're talking about the spirit, and I was telling you at the beginning of the show that your spirit is your immune system. Your spirit helps working with the mind, helps to build your life. Your spirit does so much for you that you have to make the choice to build your spirit. It is your choice. Ideally, a good spirit will help. A good spirit is a spirit that never harms anybody. Not you, not anybody else. That helps you to get along with people. That helps you to achieve a lot of great goals, but also helps you to feel good and to stay in the range of good beings, in the good direction of life. The spirit had to go through something that should have never happened. People developed spirit components or even spiritual entities that should have never developed in what we call the old system. We came out of the old system, which was led by someone whose name I will not mention now. I did mention in previous shows. For 12,000 years were led, the first 2,000 years were good, but then the next 10 were difficult. We had 12,000 very difficult years on earth. And many spiritually illegal things happened. One of them was validating negative spirits. That should have never happened, and it will never happen in the future. But now people are stuck with dysfunctional, with spirits, or dysfunctional spiritual components, or spirits of themselves, or even spiritual entity, that don't help the body. Spirits that work, their own spirit developed according to what the person knew, and they developed to shut down the body, to shut down the morals, to shut down the evolution. And from the side that did not have goodness, kindness, and everything that the Holy Spirit has, that was encouraged. You'll find somebody who repeats certain pleasures, certain emotions, like drinks something and likes the feelings once, twice, a number of times. Thoughts, emotions go there with the experience. And before you know it, they develop an alcoholic spirit, a spirit of addiction, a spirit of rage, a spirit of instability. None of that should have ever been validated. Obviously, they're not validated by the Holy Spirit, but the spirit that was leading the world, that wanted to limit the development of people and the evolution of human beings, made sure that people are put through situations where the spirit components that they developed did not help them at all. On the contrary, once the spirit develops, it has a stability. Emotion comes and goes. But the spirit has a stability, and it's not easy to undo a spirit. To undo a spirit that is harmful, it takes a very powerful holy light. This is why the beings of light have to undo the spirit that is harmful. But there are rules for undoing a spirit. But people who really want to quit drinking, they go to therapy, they go to clinics, they talk about memory, experiences, feelings, what the body feels, and so on, they don't understand the importance of the spirit that was formed as they thought, felt, and stabilized an alcoholic spirit. This could happen just because everybody is drinking and having fun. Welcome back. We'll learn a little bit more about your power to have your best spirit, ideally a good spirit, ideally a Holy Spirit. I have to tell you that the practice, the religious practices, usually to protect the person, they want to separate the spirit that is with problems and to send it away. But if somebody sends away with power a spirit that's actually a piece of you with problems, then you'll have a breakage in your spirit, and it doesn't get better. You can go to prayers that would try to help you. People would try to help you to be free of an alcoholic spirit. We go back to the same. You want to get rid of an alcoholic spirit so that you can stop drinking, and you fight and you want to push away that part of you that you've developed with your feelings and with your thoughts and with your companionship as you're doing that. And you are pushing away a part of you that doesn't go far. It may be less involved, but it doesn't go far. You may actually need to call that close and to restore your spirit with your better feelings, better thoughts, better understanding, to compare it with the window. If you have a window that has been darkened with smoke, which is how the spirit looks when it's not in good shape, you don't have to break the window, you don't have to call somebody to throw the window in the street. You have to call somebody to teach you what would clean that window. Yes, prayer would clean that window, light would clean that window. You have to clean your spirit with the good spirit, with understanding, not with guilt about drinking, but with understanding. Okay, I had a hard time, I did this. And with better feelings and better thoughts, exactly the same spot. You look at where the problem is and you bring the solution where the problem is. And you'll find yourself having the power to use the help of people who are believers, who have holiness, who have a soul and a spirit willing to be on your side and to help you. And you'll be there with them, with the group, or with the Alcoholics Anonymous group, for instance, and you will all refer to a higher power. Why? Because a higher power has the light to help you to undo the negatives. But do not break your spirit the way you don't want to break the window to your house just because it's smudged. You clean it. You clean the window so that you can see clearly, so that you can have a good feeling. You clean your thoughts, you clean your feelings, and before you know it, alcoholism is not a problem anymore. Or any kind of dependency that you have that takes your freedom, a speed that you develop, takes your freedom, limits you, pushes you in the wrong direction. Well, why do they say that the gift from the Holy Spirit is self-control? Yeah, the Holy Spirit will help you to have self-control. And until you develop your own Holy Spirit, which will make you totally in control of you, until you develop that, you can relate to people in your church, in your temple, in your synagogue, whatever your belonging is, you'll find that they will all agree that being free of the torment that led you to alcoholism is the better way to go. Welcome back. I went into all of these details about spirit, mind, soul, interactions, put them the way it happens in the real life, for you to understand how real all of these are. These are realities. We can do scientific testing. If we do the real spirit work, the immune system will work better. If we do the real spirit work, your self-control and freedom from all kinds of dependencies will happen. Any negatives that have been acquired in the times when the system allowed that to happen, they can go away. You will understand that the conditions from the old system where people were not protected were creating spirit of fear, spirit of panic. And spirit would take a life of its own, would just fly away from a person, kind of fly around the city and increase the panic. A spirit of rage large enough can start a riot. It doesn't take much. An event can spark it and it can start a riot, while a spirit of calm can give people the wisdom to deal with a difficult situation in a calm way. We will learn about how we can restore the quality of the spirit in the world, in our lives, because this is about our lives, our health, our success in everything that we do. It is very, very important. But see, it's not out there. It's not having a problem. If you look at the spirit, and if you understand it, you look at something that belongs to you for long term or forever. In the long term, everything that you develop stays together. Everything that you stay together. You develop your spirit, it will stay with your soul, it will stay with your life, it will stay with your mind. You hold together much better when you develop every aspect of you. And see, every time you reach a state of goodness, of holiness, of God responsiveness, you are better. And that can be quantified, that can be visible, that can be seen in the results in your life and in your work. When you understand that the way God works is protecting you and giving you everything it takes to develop all of you so that the quality of you would open your doors to a better, infinite future, then you'll understand more and more how not only it is in your hands, but also you have a responsibility to learn. And I do see people very interested to share, to learn, to study, to go to study groups, to study scriptures. It is a continuous activity. That's one visible mark of the fact that the earth is indeed forever paradise. You'll see people who all one way or another want to understand, some at a level of understanding, some at a higher level, each one where they are at. But you can take the simplest person and have the surprise that that's a brilliant star who teach you wisdom. Never look down on anybody. Learn from everybody. But start to understand that you are made of many dimensions and many layers of you. They reach from here to the infinite, to the micro-infinite and to the macro-infinite. all of that harmony creates the beauty of life, creates your future, creates the beauty of your present. And because we are out of that system that was encouraging the negatives to hold you back, we will be much more successful in eliminating the negative shadows of having been through that system, and will give you what it takes to go ahead and enjoy the kind of being that you have to be. I'm glad that you are still here listening and trying to understand what I'm saying, because your future and everybody's future depends on having at the individual and at the planetary level a good spirit environment. I emphasized, and there's more to learn, but it's all good, and it's actually easy. Everything that comes from the God, everything that comes from the right source is easy actually to understand. It just needs to be explained in a way that people can understand. And there's more to learn, obviously. In an hour or even in 20 shows I may not cover everything, but we are advancing in learning and in understanding. It is known that in the end knowledge would increase, and it is important to develop the knowledge about your spirit. I have to share with you the fact that we lost a few worlds less than a year and a half ago. One of the worlds that we lost was the world of the spirit. It takes 68 worlds with very specific characteristics for men to have all elements of life, of good life, and the duration of life that is appropriate for men. For men to live at optimum potential and forever through the different transformation takes the 60 worlds. The family world in trouble, the spirit world devastated. The only spirit that survived a year and a half when the spirit world collapsed was the Holy Spirit, and had to cleanse as much negative as was possible and to awaken the positive. And people started more intensely than ever to exchange messages about think positive, leave the negative behind, because the negative had negative effects and had to be left behind, while the positive would takes you ahead, takes you further. So not only the individual has to restore the spirit, but the spiritual being of the country, each country has to be restored. The spiritual being at the planetary level has to be restored. And that will create a healing atmosphere. Everything else in nature would work better. Everything else in the personal body will work better with the spiritual restoration. We have the task of restoring the worlds that we lost. So the next show will be about the worlds that we lost and why is it important to restore them. Telling you about the importance of the spirit for yourself is the introduction to understanding the importance of the worlds, starting with the world of the spirit. Restoring the worlds is restoring everything and making it much better. Until next time, I'll be happy to think of you, that you start to understand uniquely wonderful and important things.